Hello guys, and today I want to share with you some news that made me laugh. Honestly, it's not often that I laugh when reading news because I am Ukrainian and you can only imagine what kind of news we read daily, and all because of Russia. But this time I was laughing also because of Russia. And this is not just funny or ridiculous, but this also illustrates how Russian propaganda works inside Russia. Do you remember Russian city Belgorod, the one located very close to front lines, often suffering from explosions and destructions of military targets there, and sometimes bombed by Russian aviation by mistake? So this Belgorod, according to the survey of Russian ministry, ranks number 4 in comfort of living among all the cities of Russian Federation. Let me tell you more about the city itself and the absurdity of this decision and what it tells us in general about Russian Federation. My name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. Belgorod is one of the cities that we often visit on our geography lessons when we discover more about Russian locations based on destructions and explosions there. Belgorod is only 40 kilometers away from the border with Ukraine, which means really close to front lines, and also 70 kilometers away from Kharkiv. Unfortunately, this city was chosen as one of the military bases. There are lots of military supplies of Russian army there, lots of soldiers, and lots of missile systems that later target Kharkiv, Kherson, and all the parts of Ukraine, making many parts of Belgorod where these military bases are located, military plants, and so on, legitimate targets for Ukrainian armed forces, and our brave drones often travel to these locations. That's why almost every day we have epidemic of smoking on military objects in Belgorod, and also they report daily about explosive events. I do like this Orwellian language of Russian authorities, but if you read and check their Telegram channels, updates, and even official addresses of local authorities, you will definitely see that there is not a single day when Belgorod lives without air raid alerts or some explosions. What is also important, Freedom of Russia Legion and Russian Volunteer Corps Siberian Battalion visit Belgorod very often. They actually plan to start developing this buffer zone between Ukraine and Russia on Russian territory around Belgorod. And there were many fights on the suburbs of the city starting May 2023, and it all continues. I hope it will move more and more close to Kremlin, but anyway, this is the city that is one of the centers for Russian Freedom Legion and Volunteer Corps and all of that movement. And literally, when you visit the web pages of the city, you will see how angry population inside is because they are not protected by air defense. And sometimes Russian air defense trying to catch Ukrainian drones destroys serious parts of Belgorod. There were lots of cases where they actually prove this was the work of Russian air defense, and that's how it works. And people are very dissatisfied with the situation in Belgorod, but ministry says it is one of the most comfortable cities in Russia. Half of the people watching my videos are not yet subscribed. Please do. This is the best way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. This is not difficult, but it helps spread more information about my country in these challenging times. So anyway, maybe this city is considered that comfortable because liberation of Russia will start from Belgorod. That's an idea actually, but I doubt that's what they meant. So anyway, it is total absurd and another illustration of how Russia fakes everything and lies to its own people and to themselves, because there were lots of cases when people were literally evacuated from Belgorod. There are times when they are afraid to go out on the streets because they hear explosions. Ukrainians are not orcs and we never target civilian objects, but whenever you hear explosion in your city, you do not feel comfortable. That's why some schools study online. That's why sometimes they run out of electricity if something major happens on the suburbs of Belgorod, and propaganda tells them you are still fourth most comfortable city in Russia. And this is a message to Russian population that like it's everything okay, this is your life and it will always be like that. War will return back to home, to Russia, where it belongs, and I'm sure there will be more air raid alerts and more destructions on legitimate military targets all around Russia, and Belgorod is the one who starts it all. But this is also a message to us, I mean all democratic people around the world, that Russians will believe whatever propaganda tells them, and they cannot be judged or analyzed according to our normal standards, unfortunately. They live in their own very perverted, very absurd, isolated world where living in the city, close to front lines, living in the city that is on the way of troops, living in the city that sometimes is bombed by your own army because of famous Russian negligence. And yes, there were cases when Russians bombed Russian Belgorod region because something was wrong with a bomb or with an aircraft or just because of karma. Also, whenever a Russian military learn that Freedom of Russia Legion and volunteers are on the territory of Belgorod, they bomb it. There are news telling that they've dropped like 14 bombs on their own region, trying to reach this volunteer. Of course, that's not a normal way, something that would totally be unacceptable in my country, in your countries, but that's okay for Russians. And it is not just okay, since recently it is considered extremely comfortable and Belgorod ranks fourth. I hope more and more comfort like that will come to Kremlin, and we can observe that together if you are subscribed. Like and share my videos if you like and feel like sharing these videos. And thank you so much for joining me on Instagram, and also I am available on X, Threads, and we have a beautiful Discord community. Let me know in the comments below, what is the most comfortable city for living from your perspective? And also, would you like to have a live stream this Saturday? Because I feel like I've missed you and there are lots of topics that we can discuss. So please let me know. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and helping me film and learn more. And most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine, for the conversations that you hold, for the attention that you pay to those who ignore or forget about our country. It is not a local conflict. Unfortunately, it is a very big war. If not stopped on time, it may have really bad consequences for all the planet. But to make it more positive, check our merch shop. There are lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And most importantly, united we stand. Slava Ukraini!